CVW contains simulated violence and blood. It also contains very real graphic language, terrible jokes, abandonment issues, the use of drugs by the showrunner, a general sense of self-loathing, and is not intended for children, only adults that act like them. If you are offended by any of the above, well, you were warned. Also, don't try any of what you see here in real life. All of our talent, our stars, our referees, our commentators and announcer are all virtual and can never be hurt or killed. You could. CVW proudly presents Showcase of the Lightweight Champions.
The spectacle you are about to witness is number 3 in a series of CVW pay-per-view events to reboot the CVW universe. This new reboot promises a better, more intensely exciting show for you, the home viewer, and the tens of thousands of virtual fans here in our arena. In this majestic example of E-Federation intensity, we spotlight our cruiser and light heavyweight stars, and at the end of this spectacle of magnificence, one of 20 of CVW's finest will walk away with the CVW Cruiserweight Championship title. Brace yourselves because this is CVW. Here are the rules of the event. 1. 20 contestants are to be divided in 4 5-man Battle Royal style matches. 2. Eliminations will be by pinfall or submission only. No over-the-top rope eliminations. 3. The winner of each of the 4 preliminary matches goes on to face each other in a 30-minute fatal 4-way Iron Man match to see who takes the title. CVW Showcase of Lightweight Champions is brought to you in part by Manly Tape Measures. Constructed of a durable carbon polymer and aluminum, this will be the last measuring tape you ever buy. It easily gets into tight spaces for easy use. I mean, it really gets up in there for when you need it to. Easy safe retract technology ensures that you'll never get cut if you whip it back in too quickly. Manly tape measures, because sometimes 12 inches just isn't enough.
Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Steroids.
And my name is Charles Walchester III. In our first match of all this amazing action to come, we have Hank Walker, D71708, Ahmed Baldwin, and Daniel Chen all going at it to see who moves on to the final round.
Well, then stop talking, and let's get down to ringside.
I beg your pardon.
Never mind. To ringside.
The following contest is an elimination match. Making his way to the ring from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in at 228 pounds, Ahmed the Urban Gladiator.
Ahmed has been a part of this company since the very beginning, and has been oh so close to gold so many times. I wonder how he'll fare in tonight's contest.
I've watched the older shows to see what our talent is capable of, and must say that this man, Ahmed the Urban Gladiator, has shown so much heart and determination. He truly wants to win this, I believe.
I think that could be said of all of the men competing in this event, Chuck.
I suppose you're right, Michael. And don't call me Chuck.
Just as long as you never call me Michael again. It's Mike.
That suits me fine.
And his opponents, first, from New York, weighing in at 193 pounds, Baldwin.
Baldwin has struggled in his career here in CVW, but he hasn't had a lot of exposure yet. This match will give him the chance to prove himself. What do you think? Charles,
I'm inclined to agree with you. He might not have the most spectacular record, but he is a beautiful example of potential nonetheless.
I couldn't agree more. He's got potential both in singles competition and in tag matches with his partner, Psycho.
Well, then let's wish him well and see how things turn out for him in this match.
And from parts unknown, weighing in at 197 pounds, SCPD.
D71708. I don't know much about this guy. I tried to look him up in our roster records, but everything on his roster sheet is blacked out with the exception of his height, weight, and that he comes from some government branch that studies anomalous objects. It's some real X-Files shit though, I don't quite know what that has to do with him being a convict.
Yes, I had heard that this D fellow and his in-match participant cohort Mr. Walker were both somehow involved in investigating some temporal disturbances that the arena was experiencing. I don't know much about it and I'd rather not learn any more than I already do. It seems like dangerous business.
Dangerous business is what CVW is all about.
Yes, how very droll of you. I shall remember that one for later use. You insufferable muppet.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Just making a mental note to remind myself to pay my Netflix account when I get home. I wouldn't want to miss the latest episodes of whatever it is that people watch. The Wanking Dead or something.
And from Tianjin, China, weighing in at 176 pounds, Dashing Daniel Chen.
Half of the Oriental Express. His tag partner, Rowdy Kobayashi, competes later on. But for now, we're focused on this man, Dashing Daniel Chen. There's just one word to sum up the talent packed into this small man: phenomenal.
I would have said Dashing Mike. I mean, it is part of his announced name for a reason. But I wouldn't expect someone like you to notice things like that.
Someone like me, eh? What's that supposed to mean?
It's supposed to mean whatever you want it to mean. It really doesn't matter now, does it? There's a match to comment on after all. That's what we get paid for.
Wait. You get paid for this? I think I'm going to need to have a talk with Mr. Mankato about this.
And from Area 51, weighing in at 232 pounds, the Anomaly, Hunter Hank Walker.
Considering that Hank's roster file looks mostly like D71708, it's hard to say much about him. A good amount of it is redacted, but I'm of the opinion that he's a fierce fighter who knows his way around the ring. Powerful and agile, plus trained in what one would assume to be at least police-level hand-to-hand combat, judging from his kit.
Agreed there, Charles. I wish there was some way to get more background on the CVW wrestling star, but the last time I tried, men in black suits showed up, seized my computer, shot my wife, and told me that it was all just a warning for what would happen if I didn't stop looking into Agent Walker's history and/or data. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Our next PPV event is in Las Vegas, so I'm sure I can replace her fairly quickly.
That's a horrible thing to say. Replace her quickly. Didn't you love your wife?
Not really. To be honest, they did me a favor and saved me a couple grand.
Couple of grand on what?
I'll just tell you what those MIB-looking dudes said to me. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Fair enough. Back to the match. A very lovely missile dropkick from Chen. It really gets my blood pumping to see action like this.
Meanwhile, Walker and Baldwin are just going to town on Ahmed. The way they're working, as a team, you'd assume there was some sort of plan going on.
Must everything be some form of conspiracy with you? First it's looking into information about our talent because they might work for a secretive government organization that may not even exist in the first place. Now it's secret plans between two competitors to collectively take out Ahmed. Next thing you know, it's aliens in our government and robot wrestlers taking over the Federation. I think you take things a little too far there, Mike.
Surprisingly only a 2 count. I thought for sure Chen had that.
All of these men doing the damnedest to be the victor in this matchup. It's nearly difficult to keep track of the action.
An amazing sidebuster to over-the-back military toss from Baldwin. There's that potential we mentioned when he came out.
A sit-down pinning powerbomb from Baldwin.
71708 and Chen now the ones ganging up on Ahmed.
So I suppose all of them put together a clandestine pact to collaboratively put Ahmed out of commission then.
Go fuck yourself, Chuck.
A competitor has been eliminated.
Holy shit. Did you see that 717 just kicked the ref in the head and knocked him out?
In CVW, sometimes it can be just as dangerous for the referees as it is for the wrestlers themselves. Even you and I are at risk sitting here at the announcing table potentially.
You don't have to tell me about it. The risk involved at this job is why I took out an extra insurance policy. Simultaneous pins. Wow!
If only there were 2 referees to simultaneously count them.
A competitor has been eliminated.
Down to 3 fighters left in the squared circle, but it's still completely anyone's victory at this point. Chen has been cleaning up though.
Yes, he's doing splendidly. So far, he's doing all the elimination of all the competition. I do believe, if he keeps up at this rate, he'll win the match.
A competitor has been eliminated.
71708, not wasting any time at all getting the better of Daniel Chen. I wonder if that's broken Chen's momentum.
Dashing Daniel doing a fair amount of damage to the orange jumpsuit, but he needs to capitalize on that damage and go for a pin soon. Otherwise, D71708 could turn this back around.
Agreed, many a match is lost to the desire to crush one's opponent rather than go for a quick decisive victory. Chen is still refusing to go for the pinfall. He does understand the rules, doesn't he?
And now he's just standing there eyeing 717. I don't know if he's trying to strategize or take a breather, or what's going on, but if Daniel Chen doesn't pull it together soon, it's likely to cost him the match, and his chances at the championship.
Does Chen even have a plan here? I'm on the same page with you, Mike. I have no idea what he's got in store, but he'd better get to the point soon enough. A simply amazing top rope flippity-doo-dah from Daniel Chen. Is that going to be enough brutality dished out to satiate him and finally go for the pin?
A competitor has been eliminated.
That's why you get to the point. Right there. Chen totally blew it and he took advantage of the situation. Good for him.
Here is your winner, SCPD.
Yes, I'll agree. Chen got a swollen head from all the adrenaline coursing through him and it left him vulnerable. But now it's time to move on to our second match and see who 717 will face later on. Coming up next, we've got the Reaper, Mr. Shibata, Youngblood, King Sweet, and Flynn Anderson all waging all-out war against each other for the second spot in the final match.
With the Reaper just coming off his reign as the CVW Heavyweight Championship, he should do well in this event, I'd wager. He's got experience in the big leagues. These guys should be a piece of cake.
Don't assume anything, Mike. All of these competitors are giving it their all for this chance at greatness. But enough blathering on about the match. Let's head down to ringside.
The following contest is an elimination match. Making his way to the ring from the Navajo Nation, weighing in at 240 pounds, Youngblood.
Youngblood is quite the competitor, but I worry that he'll not hold up too well as a singles competitor. Most of his experience in CVW has been tag team matches. It's an entirely different strategy.
Didn't you just tell me not to jump to any conclusions about the match?
Yes, but that was you. I actually know what I'm talking about.
And his opponents, first, from Milan, Italy, weighing in at 197 pounds, King Sweet Lucchese.
I am simply amazed at the talent of this man. He wrestles blindfolded of all things. Back in my day, we had some crazies, but how do you wrestle blindfolded?
I imagine there's a trick to it. Perhaps he peers under the blindfold to see his way round. Maybe there's a screen in the blindfold. This is the age of technology in everything, is it not?
No, I hear he's actually blind and wears the blindfold so no one can see his milky, white eyes.
Well, that's just preposterous.
And from Bangkok, Thailand, weighing in at 137 pounds, Mr. Shibata.
How old is Shibata? He looks a bit too old to still be in the ring. I mean, look at him. He looks even older than you, Charles.
From what I'm seeing here on his roster sheet, he's 63 years old, which is much longer than you'll be alive if you keep deriding me about my age. I may be retired from wrestling, but I could still take you out, Mike.
And from Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland, weighing in at 223 pounds, Furious Flynn Anderson.
We've yet to see anything much in the victory column for Mr. Anderson. Let's wish him the best of luck and hope he performs well.
That's all you have to say about Anderson? Just that you wish him luck? Usually you've got a lot more to say about entrances.
Well, I ran into him in the backstage area and, as apparently my reputation had preceded me, he had a few choice words about how I might introduce him tonight. Under careful thought, and the threat of bodily injury, yes, that is all I have to say on the matter.
If that's the case, then allow me to also wish Flynn Anderson the best of luck in this match. May he rise to be our newest and eternal champion. All hail Flynn. All hail Flynn.
Ah, yes, the Reaper, the man whose entrance is so long that the management thought to ban entrances altogether for a while due to complaints and threat of quitting on the part of the entire editing staff.
I heard about that. Did then the editor actually go on strike for a while?
Yes, he did. It was a dark time in CVW from what I understand. The production budget was running out. The company was between announcers. Time anomalies and interdimensional distress. Horrors from beyond the pale. You know how it is.
I'm just glad that it's all over and our jobs are secure knowing that CVW will run for eternity.
Yes, of course. Just like this entrance.
Fun fact, did you know that matches where Reaper competes and entrances are used are 30% longer than a roll of Sherman Extra? Also, while we wait, let's take a moment to remind you all of our sponsor for this event, Manly Tape Measures. For when 12 inches just isn't enough.
And we're finally at the meat of it all. the Reaper taking Youngblood to task with a series of kicks and stomps. On the other side of the ring, the King and Anderson are ganging up on a defenseless old man.
Well, that's just what happens in matches like these. It's strategy. Take out the weakest opponents first.
Come on, there's strategy and then there's gang beating the elderly. This is indeed the latter.
You implied something entirely different at the start of this match. Something along the lines of age not mattering. Maybe I misheard you.
No, I said that I could kick your ass, not that Shibata was a capable fighter.
So, are you saying that you could kick Shibata's ass? I think that would make for an interesting thing to see at a monthly pay-per-view. I'll mention it to him if you'd like.
No, that's fine. Oh my, did you just see that thing that someone did in the match? Let's watch the match. Yes, the match.
It's really heating up. We might have a pinfall. Flynn takes 2 feet to the face.
Yes, it certainly looks painful. And there goes Youngblood with a spectacular holding piledriver. Pure excellence.
A competitor has
The
been
Reaper is out. Youngblood with the pinfall after that awesome power slam, not pile driver.
My apologies, Mike. Anderson with a much-needed reversal.
But it doesn't look like he's going to do much with it. How many times do I have to say it? Capitalize on your moves when they work that well.
Exactly. Otherwise, you end up with the situation we saw last match with our Mr. Chen. It's sad, really.
A marvelous high-flying missile dropkick to the face of Youngblood courtesy of Shibata. Who'd have thought a 63-year-old could jump that high?
And Flynn Anderson is out of the running. A valiant effort nonetheless.
Now Shibata is out as well, and it's down to Youngblood versus King Sweet. Youngblood has been the more active, as far as eliminations go, but there's still plenty of match to go.
You're absolutely right, Mike. It's still anyone's game at this point.
Wow! I think the people in the cheap seats could hear the impact from those slaps.
Not to mention the impact from the King hitting the mat. That was stunning. Lucchesi getting out of the way in the nick of time, causing Youngblood to land squarely on his arm.
That happened to me back in '84. At WrestleGanza 7. I had a bruised tailbone for over a week. Hurt like hell. Just sit down.
I can scarcely imagine the misery you must have been through. A simply magnificent quantum bomb. This could be the end of it all for Youngblood.
A competitor has been eliminated.
There is your winner, ladies and gents. King Sweet goes on to face off against D71708 and whomever comes out victorious in the next two matches.
Sweet Blue Cheesy.
I dare say that if you had asked me a moment ago, I'd have wagered that Youngblood would be the victor here. This just proves that anything can and will happen in CVW. Here we're at the second half of the preliminary battles. 2 spots are taken in the final match by D71708 and King Sweet, and 2 spots remain.
That's right, Charles, and this match looks to be an exciting one. I mean, we've got 5 of the best of our lightweight roster going toe-to-toe. That's a foot's worth of toes.
Well, with all those toes, you need to put them in a sock. No, rather you need to put a sock in it, Mike, because we're going down to ringside right now.
The following contest is an elimination match. Making his way to the ring from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 160 pounds, the Phantom.
Nearly always a good match with this man in the ring. Phantom is an exciting high flyer.
Well, he certainly gets my blood boiling, Charles, with excitement that is.
No shame in that, my good man. No shame at all.
And his opponents, first, from New York, weighing in at 235 pounds, Psycho.
Psycho hasn't had much exposure here in CVW, but his career with this company came alongside the massive roster fill-up not too long ago. So, ultimately it's not a slap at his talent or at him personally, I'm sure.
Well, he also hasn't won many matches in that short time. That could be why he's not getting much exposure, Charles. Let's face it, if you don't have what it takes to win, why give you much chance?
No matter what, this match is his chance to prove himself, perhaps even go on to victory. We'll just have to wait and see.
I suppose you're right, but I'm still pulling for this hardcore fighter.
And from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 203 pounds, Leo Loco.
Leo Loco is one of the handful of luchadors we have in CVW, but he's also one of our finest luchadors. You have to give him that.
Oh, well, that's a given. But he's also one of our first luchadores in CVW, so he has had time to get to know some of his opponent's tactics and strategies.
I'll agree with you on that, Charles. That just makes him all the better superstar in CVW.
And from Vienna, Austria, weighing in at 220 pounds, the Scientist.
You were a brainy type back in your day. Is knowledge of physics and mathematics helpful at all in the ring, Charles?
Well, I was more of a strategist and psychological wrestler than a scientific one, but I imagine that anything could be helpful information if applied in the right ways.
So, for all technical intents and purposes, the scientist could build and use, say, a portal gun in the ring then.
I don't believe guns of any kind are allowed in the ring, Mike, so that means it's a moot point. Besides, we can't sit here all day theorizing. We have a match to commentate.
And from Topeka, Kansas, weighing in at 218 pounds, Showstopper Steve.
Showstopper Steve is such a great guy. I met him on my first day here during the training meetings. Genuine niceness flows from this man. It's hard to believe that he's such a talented wrestler compared to meeting him in person. He just doesn't seem capable of violence at all. But here is trying his damnedest to go fight his way through these opponents and take home the CVW Cruiserweight Championship.
I know what you mean, Mike. Our man Steven here is indeed top man when it comes to the fans, but I wouldn't want to cross him in the ring. Not even at my peak.
I probably could have taken him back in my day, but I was a heavyweight, so it's not like we would have had much interaction, you know.
Enough reminiscing, the match is on. And I mean on. All 5 of these men are going at each other like savage dogs after a steak. A flying crossbody block from Psycho and he's going for a pin. But it's far too soon for that.
Of the 5 of these competitors, I couldn't decide whom I'd rather see win this match. It's just too evenly matched up.
I completely agree, Mike. All of these men are statistically matched. It's quite literally anyone's victory at this early stage of the match. A massive scoop-up choke slam from Showstopper Steve.
Yes, it was, Charles. On the mention of Steve, that reminds me, I understand he's very upset with Zack Slater using the nickname of Showstopper at the last PPV event. It's only rumor at this point, but I have it on good authority that he might have something to say about it to Slater at some point in the immediate future.
Well, now, that will definitely amount to an interesting match. In one form or another anyway.
And while we were talking, Showstopper Steve got the first pin, removing the Phantom from competition.
Now Neo Loco is out of the hands of the scientist. Meanwhile, Steve and Psycho are going at it on the other side of the ring. It's so chaotic out there in the ring that I honestly don't know what to say. I'm simply amazed by the spectacle of it all.
I fully agree. It's 3-way total annihilation out there right now. Scientist goes for a pin.
Psycho just punched the ref in the face. That should be a disqualification, but the ref may not have seen who hit him.
These three just keep going back and forth and round and round. It's just incredible trying to figure out what's going on, let alone who's got the advantage right now.
Now there's something to take note of. Showstopper Steve with 3 rolling suplexes all wrapped up as a nice gift for Psycho.
Followed by a Siberian leg drop. Going for the pin.
A competitor has been eliminated.
Psycho is out of the running and we're left with the Scientist and Showstopper Steve.
A competitor has
Well,
been
that was
eliminated.
certainly quick.
Sometimes it only takes 1 second, Michael.
Here is your winner, the Scientist.
There you have it, fans. The Scientist stepped up to the next level of competition to win the 3rd coveted spot in the final match in this event.
Here we are at our 4th and final preliminary battle royal in this event.
And what a final preliminary match it looks to be. Tito Tanaka, the current champion, going up against some of the most promising talent in not only CVW's cruiserweight division, but also all of CVW in general.
Boy howdy yes. Going up against Rowdy Kobayashi alone would make for an exciting match, but we've also got Lex Matsushita, Wildcat, and King Trashman added into the mix. This is going to be insane.
The following contest is an elimination match. Making his way to the ring from Korea, weighing in at 218 pounds, Lex Matsumoto.
I need to say something to Mr. Matsumoto, as I called him Matsushita in the intro. I wholeheartedly offer my humblest apologies to you, so it will never happen again.
It's nice to see you step up and take responsibility for your mistakes. I'm impressed.
Don't be. Lex Matsumoto could severely injure me. I'd prefer that we stay on friendly terms, if only for that.
And his opponents, first, from Osaka, Japan, weighing in at 187 pounds, Rowdy Kobayashi.
Rowdy Kobayashi has been a staple of this organization for some time now. And in that time, he has dazzled the fans with his skill in the ring.
Not to mention all the times he's dazzled the fans with his dance moves.
Well, I suppose wrestling could be compared to dancing. Fine analogy, Mike.
Look at him go.
Yes, he nearly reminds me of the glory days of go-go dancing and taking amphetamine pills. Not that I did either of those, of course.
Of course.
And from Madrid, Spain, weighing in at 172 pounds, Wildcat.
I find Wildcat to be a fascinating character. He's really got that pizzazz, that genuine champion vibe, if you will.
I can see where you'd get that, Charles. The clawing that he does during his entrance gives the impression that he's reaching for the top.
It's just a pity that he hasn't really been given the opportunity for championship greatness.
Well, that's being fixed right here, right now in this event. Hopefully he can take advantage of what he got here.
And from Fresno, California, weighing in at 210 pounds, TNT Tito Tanaka.
Our reigning CVW Cruiserweight champion right here, people. Make some room.
Yes, Tito has been a fairly long reigning champion in our beloved organization. Hopefully he still retains that heart of the tiger to keep fighting and retain the title. Why are you speaking like a pirate from the late 1700s?
No I. As in those things in your head that allow you to see? It's not heart of the tiger, it's eye of the tiger. As in the song?
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of it.
And from seasonal residences, weighing in at 210 pounds, King Trashman.
Seasonal residences? What does that mean?
Well, as far as I can tell, there's only two possible meanings. One, he's extremely wealthy and has 4 different homes that he moves back and forth between throughout the year, or 2, he's homeless. But considering how well our talent gets paid for their efforts here, I'd highly doubt it's the latter situation. Unless he's completely mad, of course.
In CVW, that's a good possibility. The stage is set. The flags are up. And it is go time.
And off the crack of the bat, we've got total anarchy down there. I'm already rather, what is it young people say, jazzed about the whole thing.
This match is already turning out to be a massive clusterfuck of brutality. These battle royals are difficult to keep track of enough, and then this one goes into overdrive. Wow!
Under most circumstances, I'd agree with you. But the vulgarity of that statement is enough to earn my disdain.
Disdain? Well, isn't that a high and mighty word? Fuck you, Charles. No better still, clusterfuck you. Now get back to the match before I whip your geriatric ass. Flex with a very nice pump handle scoop slam on Kobayashi, but he only scores a 2 count. And Trash Man standing idle, just watching Wildcat dish out some old school paint onto Tanaka. I'm not the most observant guy in the world, but you seem to be unusually silent. Charles, is everything okay? Is your tea too cold?
I really can't see too many reasons that I should dream of a want to interact with someone who has threatened to, and I quote, whip my ass.
Come on, Charles. I didn't mean it. It was just a heated moment, and I lost control. Can you ever forgive me, Charles? I promise it'll never happen again.
Well, for the sake of the show, I suppose I should accept you again. But I'm still keeping an eye on you. If you so much as think about threatening my personage with violence again, I should leave and never come back. CVW can always hire another commentator, you know.
But not with the same chemistry we've got going, Charles. You're the best thing to ever happen to me in my career. You mean more to me than the time I scored back-to-back victories at Slam Jam 82, and held both the SWR and FRW World Heavyweight titles at the same time. And, let me tell you, that is a seriously proud moment. I wasn't even on steroids. Never mind. You know what I'm saying here.
Yes, I suppose I do. I forgive you. Now what did we miss during our quarrel?
I have no idea.
Tito Tanaka has been put out of the running, as apparently has Rowdy Kobayashi during our dispute.
And there goes Matsumoto, which brings us to the final two. Both of which have taken the standing still approach to this match once or twice.
I wouldn't look at it so much as standing still or being idle. It's more conserving your endurance and stamina while your opponents are otherwise engaged.
We'll have to see, but the strategy pays off, and better for whom. Massive moonsault from the ring floor. If he goes for the pin, he just might have this in the bag.
It looks as though Wildcat is more interested in serving another helping of pain rather than the pin right now.
A very impressive show of Wildcat's acrobatic skills, but he needs to score that pin, or it's likely to cost him.
Yes, we've already seen that happen right here in this very event. I'm fairly anxious about this match's outcome.
This is exactly what I was talking about. You screw around in the ring too long, and the momentum gets taken away from you when you least expect it.
And this time, it cost Wildcat a shot at the CVW Cruiserweight Championship.
Speaking of, we have that very match coming up next, so stay tuned.
In our final match, we pit the victors of the preliminary matches in an Iron Man Falls Count Anywhere fatal 4-way between the scientists D71708, King Sweet Lucchese, and King Trashman.
All four of these men have definitely earned the right to be in this match, to see who walks away with the CVW Cruiserweight Championship title. You can almost smell the excitement in the air.
All I can smell are the wares being carried around by the snack vendors. I'm terribly hungry, and I'm going to get a hot dog, some popcorn, and a pint. Do you want anything while I'm at it, Mike?
Well, sure. I'd take a beer and a pretzel. Thanks.
I'll be back in a moment then, Mike. Are you okay commentating on your own till I get back?
Of course. Just don't be too long. Right off the top, Scientist has taken 708 outside the ring to hopefully score some quick and brutal damage. Meanwhile, it's a battle of kings inside the ring. An amazing Hurricane Rana from Sweet to the head of Trash Man. A pile driver from Trash Man. Where are you, Charles? I'm only supposed to be color commentary. Damn it, man.
I'm back. Sorry if I took a moment longer than expected, but I had to track down a pretzel vendor for you. The pint was no trouble though. That's $23.72 totaled up.
$23.72 for a pretzel and a pint of beer?
Pints, Michael, as in 2 of them. Plus the 2 loaded franks, had to be 2 as I dropped the first one, the popcorn, and then your pretzel. Oh, and a small service charge for my delivery. So, yes, Mike, the total you owe me is $28.50.
$28.50? What happened to $23.72?
Interest, Michael, pure and simple. It's only business. Don't worry, you can pay me after the show if you'd prefer.
Thank you, Charles. You're a real friend.
No trouble at all, happy to help. The Kings are going at each other's throats like rabid dogs out on the concrete.
Meanwhile, Charles, the scientist, is unleashing what looks to be a lot of pent-up aggression onto D-Class.
And there is our first pinfall scored in this match. But it's still rather early, so who knows what will transpire.
A series of brutal punches to the face of the scientist from 708. Perhaps some resentment of scientists in general from his work and associations with the SCP Foundation. I hear they do terrible things to people there.
I've heard a good deal of rumor about SCP, and from what I've heard, I think you might be right. And by the by, that's King Sweet having his face rearranged, not a scientist. A very nice power slam from King Sweet. I approve.
There it is. That's what I like to see in a match like this. One-on-one violence. None of this pairing off bullshit. Get chaotic out there. Yeah. Bulldog to the very hard, very real concrete outside the ring. This is some of the best wrestling I've seen in a while.
I noticed while you were finishing your statement, Mike, the trash man is bleeding. This is where the real action begins.
Oh, you're so right, Charles. You get to bleeding too much and things get fuzzy. It can be a real hindrance on your performance.
And before that happens, you still have to try to keep it out of your eyes. Nothing like wrestling blind, well, with the exception of Lechese here. Trash Man scores a pinfall, adding to the scoreboard.
And Sweet Lucchese scores another pinfall. I wonder if he can take this all the way.
We'll know in roughly 20 minutes, Mike. Can you wait that long?
I doubt it. This is just too exciting.
It was a rhetorical question, Michael. And now, in a surprising turn, the action has returned to the ring. Wow, that was an enormous elbow drop from the top rope all the way down to the concrete onto the head of King Sweet. The scientist really knows how to impress the fans.
Yes, he does, Charles. That was sheer entertainment watching that maneuver. Such an amazing high flyer in the scientist.
Are you alright, Mike? Your voice seems a bit off.
Ahem. Sorry. I had a frog in my throat. I guess I drank my beer a little too fast. Might as well, considering what I paid for it. Up to the face of the 71708 from the scientist. I think that might have been a little out of line, but what do I know?
And the scientist delivers a hard lesson to the back of Sweet's head in why you don't taunt and celebrate when your opponents aren't down.
I'll agree, Charles. I think that was about the dumbest thing I've seen during this event. And now everyone is brutally beating King Sweet. It's almost as if they're all upset by that taunt he tried to pull off.
I'm sorry to inform you, Michael, but they weren't gang beating King Sweet. They were trying to break the pin against King Sweet. Simply amazing action in this ring right now. It's wonderfully exciting.
I know. I haven't seen sports entertainment like this since Parking Lot Palookas back in '89. Now, that was an exciting event to behold, let me tell you.
I'd rather you didn't. Thank you. And now King Trash Man is the lone standing man.
I wouldn't say that too quickly, Charles. D71708 is getting up and so is the scientist. It's back to a furious fatal four-way again. The scientist goes outside with the help of D-Class MK.
Perhaps we'll see some more blood. Wouldn't that be lovely? An amazing moonsault shake effect from KTM. If he can get away with it, now would be the time to pin. Now we have 708 taking the brunt of Trash Man's aggression.
The scientist with an Irish whip into Lucchese, who was already whipped into the corner. Pity D took away his chance to do something with it.
The sheer testosterone and fueled aggression in the air is quite palpable, wouldn't you say, Michael?
I would if I could remember what palpable meant. After the accident with the tripwire explosives back at Brutality at the Beach 88, I don't think too good no more. Lots of words. What's the word for when you don't understand something?
Moronic.
No.
Stupidity.
No.
Ineptitude.
No.
Uncomplicated.
No.
Stupefaction.
No. But it doesn't matter. We need to get back to the match. The Kings pair off outside the ring while Deep prepares to give it to the scientist.
Must you be so lewd? Give it to him. I'm going to hope you meant a beating. They don't allow sex on YouTube after all, now do they? A simply wonderful hold-up pile-drive effect from the scientist. Truly amazing move.
I can't help but marvel at this match so far. I know that the scoreboard says KTM is in the lead with 2 pinfalls, but this is still literally anyone's victory here.
I know, the back and forth and switching of pairings has been phenomenal so far in this match. The skill displayed has been excellent and the excitement is at a peak. I can't wait to see who wins and takes the title home with them.
Oops, I misspoke. I said the name of the wrong king as far as who's in the lead. The current leader is King Sweet. Apologies. King Sweet puts the trash man down hard onto the concrete with one of his signature moves, Sweet Dreams, which is a roll-up turn power bomb slam.
Good lord, man, do you know the damage that could cause the recipient? It's possibly career-ending. I've seen men laid up in hospital for months in body casts while they mend their spines. Personally, I'm of the opinion it should be outright banned in CVW.
Maybe you're right, but if we start banning moves, then we lose a lot of what makes CVW special. Besides, as mentioned in the opening disclaimer, and I quote, all of our talent, our stars, our commentators, and announcer are all virtual, and can never be hurt or killed. So there. And it's tied after Trash Man scores his second pinfall. It's getting to be a real nail-biter.
.708 getting into the ring and stopping that pin just in the nick of time.
And using it to his advantage now that he's back in the ring. Pure aggression. That's what D71708 is. Pure aggression. There it is again. Sweet Dreams. I know that you don't like it, Charles, but the fans seem to love it.
I know, and our fans are always important to us. The move should stay, I suppose, after all then.
Yay.
With the match over half finished, we see that the score is still tied with the two teams both at 2. The 71708 and the scientists still have yet to score any pinfalls. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that our next pay-per-view event, Violence in Vegas, where we will showcase and have a women's championship tournament and some other spectacular matches, is coming soon, hopefully sooner than this event did. Am I wrong, or are all four of these competitors bleeding from their heads? Am I seeing this correctly?
I'm pretty sure you're right, Charles. And that's going to be one hell of a mess for the janitors and takedown crew after we're done. But say, that's not our problem. Five strong kicks to the chest from one king to another. I imagine Sweet is having some breathing difficulty after those. Trash Man is looking a little woozy. I wonder just how much longer he can hold out.
Well, there's still 10 minutes left on the clock, so hopefully until then, because he still needs to break the tie if he wants to win this.
And he did just that right now. The score is now 3-2 with Trash Man in the lead.
The scientist with his first pinfall of the match. It's good to see him finally on the scoreboard. But he's still got a lot of pain to dish out if he wants to take the belt.
Yeah, getting his first pin this late in the match really sets him up for a hard road to hoe, that's for sure.
Did you just say a hard rodeo? What are you Yanks up to lately? Is that where you ride bulls and shoot at things, or is shooting and bull riding just your average Wednesday night?
Hard rodeo. What are you talking about? Let's just get back to the match. Now D71708 is on the board with his first pin of this match. So, with that, Trash Man is in the lead, followed by Sweet, and then it's the Scientist and D-Class neck and neck snapping at King Sweet's heels.
Yes, Mike, this has turned out to be quite the culmination of events in this showcase of lightweight superstars. I swear I can actually smell the tension in the air.
No, that's probably me you're smelling. Beer makes me gassy. Sorry.
Oh dear. Jesus, what in the fuck was that move? The scientist just took out D-Class and King Sweet with some sort of head scissor Hurricane Rana hybrid. I've never seen anything like it in my entire career. What's wrong, Michael? Have you nothing to add to the commentary on such a superior move by the scientist?
I was going to, but then I was even more shocked that Mr. Proper British Gent Pip Pick Cheerio said fuck.
I suppose this old proper British gent pip pip cheerio Bob's your Uncle Fanny's your Aunt Big Ben Tea and Crumpets motherfucker still has a few surprises in him after all. So many attempted pinfalls, so many rushes to break him up. Just when you think someone scored another point, it stops at a 2 count.
More like 2 3/4 for some of these pins. The scientist goes outside the ring, where King Trash Man has been recovering for the last few seconds. And just like that, folks, King Trash Man has pretty much secured a victory in this competition. That's no guarantee by any means. He's still going to have to fight to keep that lead, but with only a little over 4 minutes left, I'd bet on him.
Another pinfall for Trash Man. That's 5 for him now. This is unheard of.
Unheard of? Maybe. Exciting as all shit. Definitely. Here we are just under the 3-minute mark and KTM is in the lead with 5 pinfalls, followed by King Sweet and the Scientist with 2 each. And lastly, 708 with a single pinfall. I know what I said earlier about this match being a foregone conclusion, but keep in mind folks, anything can and will happen in CVW. We've seen it before.
A lovely whoopsie-doodle slip by King Sweet, sending D-Class outside the ring onto the tarred, reinforced concrete flooring.
Very nice. Very brutal. And I love it. And that scores King Sweet another point, bringing him to 3. There's roughly only 2 minutes left. Do you think he can come back and win this, Charles?
It's possible, yes, but I can't help but wonder how likely it would be. Did the referee just break up the pinfall that he had going over Luchesi? That's the way it looked to me. We're going to have to invest in some instant replay tech around here.
Another pinfall for King Sweet. Less than a minute remains. Could he actually come from behind and win this thing? Surely not. That's 2 pinfalls in less than 60 seconds. Not possible in my opinion.
Well, hold your opinion because no one's listening. This match isn't over yet and it's still a possibility, even if only slight, that fortunes could change. Let's watch and find out.
Ouch. That hit a hurt. But it's giving Sweet the very opportunity he needs. Holy shit. It's a draw. The match is a draw. I can't believe it. But we're out of time. What happens now, Charles?
I'm not really sure. Let me call up to Mr. Mancato's office and see what he has to say about it. Hello, Mr. Mancato. Yes, you saw that, I imagine. So, what do I tell the fans? Yes, sir, of course, sir, I see. Alright, I understand. I'll make the announcement myself, sir.
Well, what did the boss guy say?
Mr. Mancato said that because we're going to be in Las Vegas, what better way to celebrate than to have a pair of kings battle it out in a no-holds-barred Extreme Rules Falls Count Anywhere match-up at Violence in Vegas.
We have to wait.
Yes, I'm afraid so, Michael, but, as you said, we are out of time. I'm Charles Walchester III.
And I'm Mike Steroids.
This has been CVW Showcase of the Lightweight Champions. We love you all and hope that you enjoyed our show because we sure as shit enjoyed making it for you. If you like what you saw, click that like button. If you want to see more great E-Federation Wrestling action, subscribe. And if you want to be notified of when one of our shows is uploaded, be sure and ring the bell to start the match. We'll see you next time at Violence in Vegas.